Hey everyone, it's Jedi Mick, and today we're going to show you, I'm going to show you 10 comic books that I sent to CGC for grading. These are a mix of comic books from when I was growing up, late 80s, early 90s stuff, and a lot of that stuff was so overproduced that it's hard to find anything of real value there. But I had a few that were worth grading, and I really wanted to see how the grading worked with CGC. And I think the best way to do that is just like with baseball cards. Sometimes you just got to send some stuff away. I watched a lot of stuff on YouTube, read some blogs, and had somewhat of a sense, but really just wanted to kind of look at what I thought was good, send it away, send some stuff that was questionable away, see what grade it came back at, just so I could have kind of a range, so I could start to figure out what was worth sending and what isn't. So let's get into it. There's 10 here. First up is Wolverine number 8, and this is from 1989. And this one came back at a 6.5. So you see a bunch of creases here in the corners along staples, and yeah, a little bit beat up on the back. I probably should have had this comic book pressed, but I didn't. And that's a learning on that one. Okay. After that, we are going to go with... This is Spiderman number 1. This is from 1990. This is the silver edition. And I got a 9.2. So this one came in pretty good. You know, you're really shooting for 9.8s for those of you who have never done this before. The 10s are virtually impossible. So the 9.8 is kind of the standard. That's kind of like your PSA 10 in a way when it comes to trading cards. But this comic book was really, there was just a lot printed. And this was a big chase back in 1990. It wasn't too hard to chase because it was everywhere. But this is the silver one. This is Todd McFarlane art, which, I mean, I don't know if they're, between him and Jim Lee, there isn't anyone better than those two. All right. Next up, Wolverine number 17. This is just an iconic cover. Love this cover. And this came in at an 8.0. And there's some issues on the spine. And the front here looks pretty good, but I think there are some folds and issues with some bent pages and inside of it. But yeah, little dirty as well. Kind of has that yellowing done. These were comic books that I had stored. Some of them were in sleeves, some of them weren't. Most of what I sent away was, though. All right, here is Uncanny X-Men 450. This is from 2004. I had got back into comics, started reading them again, collecting them, and this was the X-23 appearance. And this came back at an 8.0. So when I look at this, there's some issues down here in this corner, some chipping along the bottom here. And, I read these things. I wasn't buying these to collect them. And there's some nicks here along the spine of it. So, not too bad there. All right, here is another one. This one's from 2006. This is All-Star Superman number 1 with Grant Morrison as the author and Frank Quietly as the artist. Really love this cover. Got a 9.6. And, yeah, I mean, I loved when they did this All-Star series. The Batman ones look great. That has Jim Lee art in it. So, 9.6. All right. And then this is Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is number 3. This is from 2005. Dark Horse Comics, 9.6. And this was in really good shape. So, once again, this is my first time submitting comic books, but a lot of what I read was like 9.6, 9.8 is, sometimes it's just a roll of the dice on that. But there's like a little dot there. There's just little tiny things on this that don't make it a 9.8. Okay, we've got, what, 4 more. So let's roll it. This is, there's my dog in the background. This is Wolverine #1 from 1988. This was one that was a chase as well during that period of time. Love this. Was his basically first Wolverine as Patch. And, you know, every 80s kid who collected comic books was chasing this one. You know, you see here it's not perfect when it comes to the staple line and the spine, but overall, you know, great comic book. Once again, comic that I read and then just held on to. So I'm not too upset with the shape of these things, considering. All right, so this is Predator #1. This is Dark Horse Comics, and this came in at a 9.4. Also, not bad for, so in 1989, I was 12 years old. Looks like I kept my stuff in pretty good shape at 12. So, don't remember much about reading this comic, but I did have a bunch of them. All right. I'm going to double zap your tits. Or zits. Not tits. Amazing Spider-Man 316. So this came in at an 8.0. And this was Venom on the cover. Todd McFarlane art again. Right? Doesn't get much better than that, right? From an art standpoint. Obviously, the grade could be better. You can, when you catch some of the light there, you can see a little bit here on that side. But not bad. And then finally, this is from 1988, Amazing Spider-Man 300. This is the origin and first full appearance of Venom. Right. And this came in at an 8.0. This is still a very valuable comic book, even at an 8.0. So this is around $400 today's market at an 8.0. So I am going to be selling a number of these, pretty much all of these, and then trying it again. Got some other comics now. I can take a sharper look at things and hopefully get some better grades moving forward. But overall, happy with these grades, considering it's my first time submitting. And by the way, these things came back fast. If any of you have ever submitted via PSA and you know you're 4 or 5 months out before you get your cards back, I submitted these 10 comic books like 2.5 weeks ago. And they are graded back. The packaging was awesome. Cardboard box with a bunch of padding around it. Really a great experience. So hope you enjoyed this and give me some feedback. Let me know what you think I should have done with some of these comic books, what you think I should have done to get better grades. And what's your favorite, what was your some of your favorite nostalgic comic books from when you were growing up? Thanks.